third part of the Strategic Management Introduction series. This part we'll be looking at comparing the strategic management principles with military strategies. We'll also spend some time looking at the global perspective of strategic management, and we'll also look at the ethical issues surrounding strategic management. Now, it's very important to realize that business strategy has been equated or equaled with military strategy, and the way that militaries plan, militaries implement and evaluate the strategies that they undertake in conquering a country or in defending a country has been equated to the way that businesses are carried out. And therefore, business strategy principles have been passed down from years from military strategies. And one of the most popular military strategists is this person called Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu is a Chinese military general who formulated strategies to conquer countries, and he was very, very successful. And over the years, authors have taken his principles and translated this into business strategies. Okay, and that's why there is a lot of books out there that makes comparisons between business strategy and military strategy. Now, on a global perspective, strategic management today has been applied across many different types of businesses, both profit-orientated and not profit-orientated. Now, even public sectors have drawn upon strategic management principles in formulating their strategies, implementing and evaluating these strategies. Therefore, for example, if you look at the statistics that is available out there, you would notice that a vast amount of a country's trade is undertaken through export of goods and services. And therefore, it is imperative that strategic management principles also apply for global trade. Now, therefore, in undertaking strategic management principles in global trade, companies need to be aware about aspects like globalization, where there is a need to do business with companies all around the world. Now, they also need to formulate global strategies around things like designing of products, producing products, marketing products. All these aspects affect a company's global strategy. Now, the global challenge is that how are companies going to formulate strategies based on principles that exist or environment that exists in a particular country and use it across other countries around the world. Now, we have seen successful companies do this, like McDonald's, KFC, Pfizer. Now, these companies, they have been able to undertake this challenge and succeed. So companies need to realize that it's important for them to formulate global strategies in line with strategic management principles, taking account of different tastes, trends, and prices. Now, the next part of this presentation is on the emphasis of business ethics on strategic management principles. Why ethical considerations are very important today. As you are aware, a lot of companies have taken up initiatives pertaining to sustainability and being environmentally friendly within the strategies that they apply. And therefore, Based on these principles, over the years, business ethics have become a core part of strategic management principles. Now, in formulating strategies, companies need to look at their social responsibility, how they can enhance, how they can protect living things, the environment, human beings. Now, besides that, they also need to look at sustainability as a means of ensuring that their operations continue, not only in terms of sustaining their profit levels, but also protect, mend, and preserve the environment for future generations. Now, in terms of business ethics, okay, there are a lot of principles out there that companies need to adhere to. Okay, I've just put up 7 here so that it will give us a basis of looking at how business ethics applies in strategic management principles. Now, one of the key areas that a company can do to instill ethical principles in their strategic management process is to inculcate an ethics culture in their organization so that this will enable the managers, the senior staff, to ensure that proper ethical principles are applied across the organization. So a good example of this is to formulate a code of business ethics within the organization. Such a code will help the organization achieve its objective of being an ethical organization. Now, there are many issues that we have come across over the years, which deems to be impacting the ethical culture of an organization. One of the most talked about issues has been whistleblowing, basically referring to employees reporting on unethical violations that they discover or observe within their organization. They also have, over time, organizations have developed ethics training programs so that they can ensure that their staff are well versed with the changes in the ethical business environment. Now, of course, in third world countries and in many developing countries, bribery, corruption is still an issue. So how do international companies deal with this? How do local companies deal with this? So there must be strategies in place to help these companies make this adjustment to ensure that they are abiding by the various rules in the country. Now, workplace romance has been around for many years. Okay, so companies do have proper codes, do have regulations. Some companies are very strict about this. Some companies are quite relaxed. But it is an issue that companies need to look at, and the code of ethics of an organization may be formulated to ensure that this issue is addressed. Now, social responsibility and policy has always been a key concern of organizations. So we have seen people like Ralph Nader, Milton Friedman highlighting these issues. Okay, so organizations too need to look at how they are going to continue to be responsible for the society that they are functioning within, the environment that they are also involved in, and how they can ensure that they carry out their social responsibility. Now, one way to ensure that this happens is to have a policy pertaining to social and environmental issues. Now, these policies will ensure that the interests of the different stakeholders are addressed at the same time that the company is able to participate in social activities to bring economic benefit not only to the organization, to the society, and eventually to the country. Now, environmental sustainability has been a very important issue in organizations, and as I mentioned to you earlier, it will impact the strategic management process of a company. So therefore, not only does the organization need to look at the interests of the stakeholders, but also to ensure that the organization continues to be profitable, as well as contributing to the society, contributing to the environment in ensuring that there is preservation for future generations. We have come to the end of the part 3, but as a means of summarizing, so far we have covered part 1, which has been focused on defining the strategic management process and explaining briefly the different stages. Part 2, we have focused on the benefits and pitfalls of engaging in strategic management process. And in part 3, we looked at the global issues as well as the ethical issues surrounding the strategic planning process. So we've come to the end of part 3.